episode of GVN The Bad Batch Review. We took a few weeks off, but we are back and we are ready to break down from episode 5 all the way to episode 7. And we have some Star Wars news to talk about also. So
we do. What was that again?
I got it. Don't worry. All right. Let me start off with introducing my co-host, as always, AJ. What's going on, AJ?
Living my best life. Wish I could take another nap, but I'm here.
Another one? Why do you need so many?
Another one.
Why do you need so many?
I'm tired. I work 11-hour shifts. I'm exhausted.
Impossible. You're 16. They don't allow 16-year-olds.
16. Okay.
Yeah, they don't allow you to work that many shifts.
Multiply that by like 30.
Yeah, multiply that by 30. Shut up. Anyway. All right. So let's start off with some Star Wars news. And the news that we got is Forrest Whitaker will return as Saw Gerrera in the upcoming Andor series. That's pretty interesting. I'm going to be honest with you, AJ. You know how real we keep it with each other. I really have no interest in this Andor series. I really think it's a waste of a show. You literally could be putting anyone else right there. Like, I would have loved, because you're hyping him up so much, why couldn't we have gotten a I was about to say Moff Gideon. That's not what I meant.
I would love a Moff Gideon series.
What's his name? Because Moff Gideon could be in his series. Why am I blanking on his name? Red Eyes.
What you said?
Red Eyes. He has red eyes.
Thrawn.
Good
Lord, man. Come on, get it together. Get it together.
Goes, man. You know how my brain goes. But yeah, Thrawn. Give me a Thrawn series. Like, to me, here's my only issue about the Andor series, AJ. When God, I just forgot the name of the movie.
Rogue One.
When Rogue One ended, I did not say to myself, man, I wish I could see more from this. I literally kind of felt as though I got everything I needed to get. It's why they killed everybody. I'm good. So when they announced this series, I was just like, I get how other people are interested in it. I'm not here to bash it. I'm just saying why I'm not invested in it. And who knows? We said this yesterday on GVN Talk. It's up to them to blow me away. You know what I'm saying? When that trailer hits, if it's that good, you know I'm there. But on the outside looking in, it's just like, it's a character I didn't need anything else about. I don't need anything else about Saw Gerrera because we've gotten him nonstop in Clone Wars. We got him in video games. We've gotten him in movies. Give me someone like Thrawn, man. Give me Thrawn. Give me Thrawn's rise. And in that rise, AJ, Moff Gideon can be in there. Tarkin can be in there. Vader can be in there. Luke can be in there. And it could all be connected to where you are in the Mandalorian timeline for your Star Wars universe right now. So to me, that's what I would have preferred, rather than seeing an Andor series. But I'm going to pass it to you. Not only does it seem like Forrest Whitaker is coming back, but it looks as though Ben Mendelsohn is coming back as director Krennic in the Andor series also. How do you
remember his name, but not Thrawn? That's terrible.
No. Time out. Stop. Don't do that. I have it written down. That's the only reason I know it. I have it written down. Or I would have just said Ben Mendelsohn coming back. But what are your thoughts on those two characters returning, on the possibility of those two characters returning, and then your interest in this Andor series?
I'm excited if that is true. If Krennic is coming back, and if Forrest Whitaker character Saw Gerrera is coming back. I'm excited for the series because I really did love the little snippet we did get in the beginning with Cassian Andor and his spy stuff and all that. I really did enjoy that in Rogue One. So I'm definitely up for this series 100%. With Thrawn, sure, I would love a series, but I think they're using him enough that's being important. We already got him enough in novels. We got him in Rebels. Yes, Rebels. And we're also going to get him some more in the Ahsoka series. So I think we got enough to cover it for just a little bit, but I would rather have a series for Thrawn. But Andor, I am excited for specifically.
No, I'm glad. And like I said, I'm never here to try to sway people into hating something. If you're excited for it, I love that you're excited for it. I just felt as though I got everything I needed when they gave me Rogue One. It was just kind of like it was meant for that to be a ensemble. Everyone died. That was really all I needed. Like I never left that like, damn. You know what? Let me take that back. If there's anyone to come out of Rogue One, I would have wanted a series about. It would have been the Star Killer. I would have liked a series about him, how he rose through the ranks, created the Death Star and everything.
Well, Star Killer, you're talking about the
Yeah, I call him his name is Garen Asa. Yeah, that's his actual name, but they do call him the Star Killer. That's what they refer to him as in Rogue One, and that's why I told you when I heard the character before seeing anything about the movie, I thought we were getting the Star Killer me and you know, and then when I saw the trailer and they said it, I was just like, oh no. Garen Malik is his name. Sorry, Garen Malik. Erso is someone else. I don't know who Erso is, but that's someone else. I think his name is Garen Malik in the movie. Yeah, so I would have liked to see.
You're talking about.
Say it again.
You're talking about Jyn Erso.
Yes.
The main protagonist of Rogue One.
Yeah. But is it Garen Malik? Is that his name in the movie?
I think so. I don't want to be wrong.
But yeah, so I would have liked more about his story because literally that was the first time we saw the character, and we got really nothing because the story was about his daughter. So his story I would have liked more of. Because essentially he's the guy responsible for everything that we see from the Vader era. Starship wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I would have liked to have seen that for sure. But again, anyone excited for Andor, I'm excited for you. So yeah, I hope this show is a hit. I just know I don't think you could do a season 2. I think Rogue One was his season 2. So hopefully this season 1 is everything it's cracked up to be.
You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, even first time and dodge death. Yeah. All right. So from Star Wars stuff, we got from Tamara Morrison, we're going to see Boba's past and where he's been since Empire Strikes Back. Now's the time to actually go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. This is interesting, AJ, because if I can make one thing known to you, if there is a time in Boba Fett's life that I could probably care less about, it's after he survives the Tarlac pit. Boba's life to me, huh?
What's the Tarlac?
Sarlacc pit. Sorry. Boba's. Mm-hmm. What's more interesting to me about Boba is what happens to him after the Clone Wars. What did Boba do from a teenager to the point where we saw him in Empire Strikes Back? So to me, that's the most interesting timeline of Boba's life that I would like to see played out. But you telling me a Boba Fett without armor, I don't really care what he was doing in that timeline.
Well, he will have the armor.
No, didn't he lose it?
No, but he'll have the armor in the series.
No.
He already got set pictures in it.
No, I'm only referring to what he's saying here in the quote about seeing what happened in that timeline of when he escaped. I know because this takes place after the Mandalorian, so I know he'll have the suit now. But I'm more curious about teenage Boba going into adult Boba leading into Empire Strikes Back. I would have liked to have seen what he's done in that time because we know he had a team. So at what point did he say a big F you to that team and go solo? And really gain his name. Because remember, in Empire Strikes Back, the name Boba Fett means something. And in Clone Wars, he was still growing that legacy. People were still looking at him like a little snot-nosed kid. So there's a gap between where we saw him in Clone Wars and then when we saw him in Empire Strikes Back. So that's the timeline I would like to see them flash back and give me a little bit more story about.
Wait, isn't Jango Fett the clone?
No, Jango is dead.
Is it? I don't know why I keep getting them to. Okay, I got you.
I understand why you're getting it confused, but Jango was the dad who died in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And Boba.
Mace. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I would like to see of Boba, because that timeline has the most question marks about it. I'm not familiar if any of that's answered in the books. I'm not familiar. But I know for me, I know nothing about that time period between where Clone Wars ended and then where you see him in Empire Strikes Back. So I would like to see that get filled in. But how excited are you about where we're going to be seeing Boba headed?
Super excited. It was a nice surprise seeing him in The Mandalorian. For me, it was a nice surprise at least. Every moment he was in, it was badass. So I don't care what timeline it's a set in or partially set in. There's a recent comic, I think it's War of the Bounty Hunters, which is set. I think it's set by the time Han Solo gets caught, and then I think it's Empire. No, is it Empire?
You tell me. I told you I'm not familiar, bro. I won't even lie to you.
So it's set between when Darth Vader catches him, and between that and when he's back on Tatooine with Jabba the Hutt, Jabba. So that's where the War of the Bounty Hunters is mixed in. So that would have been a cool timeline to set the series on, because you'll also get like IG-11, you'll get all the other bounty hunters, which would have been cool. But I'm still excited for this series. Like I said, I don't really care where the timeline is set in with this, because we really haven't seen a badass Boba live action until The Mandalorian. So to get more of that, sign me up.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad to have Boba back, man. And I know a lot of people are upset because apparently The Mandalorian won't film until probably middle of next year. But I don't know why people are shocked. Once you heard that Pedro Pascal was cast in The Last of Us, or was it? Is it The Last of Us, the name of the game? Once he was cast in that, it should have been obvious that The Mandalorian was going to have to wait. I'm just surprised, that Disney didn't have ownership on his time as far as shooting first. So that probably sounds like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni kind of allowed him, the free passage to do this, to not miss out on the opportunity, and kind of told him like, hey, we're doing the Book of Boba. That comes out the end of this year. We got time. And me and you talked about this before, AJ. There's so many shows coming. For everyone that's like, oh man, I want the Mandalorian. By the time you get the Mandalorian, we'll have had Ahsoka. What?
Okay, so the reason why season 3 of Mandalorian is not filming yet, and they just replaced it with Book of Boba Fett, is because the LA stages were taken because of the Obi-Wan series. So that's probably the main reason why they didn't.
Wait, say it again.
So basically, season 3 of Mandalorian didn't start shooting because the LA stages was taken, because the Obi-Wan series was filming at the time.
No, but what's confusing about that is Mandalorian ended. Did it end last year?
Let's see.
I'm trying to remember. Last year is such a blur, bro. I think it ended last year. Yeah, it ended last year because Clone Wars was in May, the end of Clone Wars, and I think The Mandalorian was the end of the year.
December 18th, yeah.
Yeah, so it ended the end of the year. Okay, so yeah, that adds up. That Obi-Wan would have taken precedence over, filming The Mandalorian back to back. Back to back with the Book of Boba. That makes sense.
And it says that season 3 will begin filming at the end of the year. And that's from Collider.
Of this year?
Yeah, this year. And it says in the early 2022.
I think in early 2022. But yeah, so I'm excited for it, but I'm not stressed over getting the Mandalorian immediately because we know how much Star Wars content we're getting.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just the idea of like we're getting a lot of stuff. I am more curious on what Dave Filoni's next Star Wars show, animated, it's gonna be. That's what I want to see because we know we got the Bad Batch now, but Dave Filoni keeps a Jedi Sith battle in the tuck.
Well, we still got Visions that's being worked on.
No. I know we're getting more stuff like that. I mean, specifically from Dave Filoni. Yeah. Is he doing more animation besides Bad Batch? I'm really curious. So that's definitely in the back of my head. But
well, isn't he working on all of it? Isn't he just the creative director?
Well, no, remember, I told you he doesn't have say so on whether stuff gets made or not. It's just kind of like creative. He has like creative not control, but like he has creative say so. So it's like, hey, we're doing this show, but it doesn't mean he's directly involved. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have the power Feige does, where Feige can come in and go, no, your story is going to be this. I don't think that's the power he has. I wish it was. I feel a lot more comfortable about things.
I did not know he did Avatar last. He did a couple episodes of Avatar last September.
So yeah, so I'm really excited, but like I said, I'm in no rush. It'll get here when it gets here. We got too much Star Wars stuff coming for me to be worried about that. So, excuse me. I'm gonna wait my turn, and when it gets here, man. People would just be spoiled sometimes. Like, we're getting so much Marvel stuff, we're getting Star Wars stuff, and it's like, well, hurry up and give me the Mandalorian. Hurry up and give me the Mandalorian.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And it's like, bro, we're getting it. We're gonna get it, but enjoy Obi-Wan. Enjoy all the other shows and movies we're getting with Star Wars. But do we know there's no other Star Wars news? We can get into Bad Batch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, episode 5 of Bad Batch, Rampage. That is the episode where the Bad Batch strike a deal to it's a rescue mission, but they don't know what they're rescuing. Mm-hmm. And it turns out they think they're rescuing some villagers, and they're not. They're rescuing the monster that will later be killed by Luke Skywalker in one of the worst ways a monster can die. But it was cool to see that play out. It also, I love when Tech was telling God, what's his name? What's the big one's name?
Wrecker.
He was telling Wrecker, like, it's a territory thing. Like, you're gonna have to fight him. And Wrecker's just like, oh man, and he's squaring off with this monster till they both tire out. It was also cool to see Jabba's right-hand man return, because last time we saw Jabba's right-hand man, it was Boba killing him. So it was good to see. It was good to see him not dead. So this episode was a lot of fun. I had fun with it. How did you like it, AJ?
I thought it was a fun episode too. It wasn't all too serious. Once again, the chemistry between every single one of them was fun. Omega got her shining within this episode, helping out a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the fight with Wrecker and the Rancor was, what was the name? I can't remember.
I don't remember it either. But also, to add to your point, Omega got her weapon from this episode.
Yeah.
Yep. So she has a kind of like a crossbow now. I don't know really what you would call it, but it's kind of like a crossbow. And it's huge. It's huge on her. She can barely hold it sometimes. Mm-hmm. But this is a really good episode. I enjoyed it a lot. We can move to episode 6 called Decommissioned. On this mission to acquire a valuable asset, the Bad Batch encounters smugglers after the same target. And we see the sisters from season 7 of Clone Wars return.
Yes, sir.
I thought they were annoying in season 7, but I only thought that because I wanted that whole arc. I wanted that whole arc to hurry up and get over with so I can get to the meat and potatoes of what season 7 was going to be. But I enjoy their characters. I really do. And it kind of looked like the older sister and Hunter was, getting along. They was getting along a little bit. I really enjoyed it, but we were seeing Wrecker experiencing more headaches. He passed out from his headache. It was increasingly getting worse. But we see at the end of this episode, Hunter gives the sisters the drive. Instead of fulfilling their mission, they give it to them. Now, I have to ask you, AJ, before you go into your thoughts on the episode as a whole, who do you think the sisters were talking to? I'll tell you the two names I heard, and you tell me what you heard. I heard Mace Windu, and then I heard Bail Organa. Who do you think they were talking to?
See, I heard that it was either Ahsoka or I can't remember. I think it was Mace as well. It was either Ahsoka or Mace.
Let me just say this. They refer to the person as a he. Now, again, it could be a swerve. Who knows? But I just don't know why Ahsoka would send them on a mission. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why Ahsoka wouldn't just do it herself. I understand why Bail Organa would send them on a mission. Even Mace Windu wouldn't make any sense. Because it's like, well, you're Jedi. Why not just go do it yourself? The risk is equal. If they find me, they'll kill me. If they find you, they'll kill you. So it's like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, they see me, they just slap me on the wrist, I go home. So that I didn't understand why a Jedi would send other people to do a job for them. So to me, I looked at it as either Rex or Bail Organa.
Well, I didn't see it as the person they were talking to at the end of the episode, the person that sent them on that job. I just thought that since, or the people, I didn't really think it was Ahsoka or Mace, but I think that people were thinking that it was a friend giving another friend advice because they worked together before, and they were like, hey, there's some other people that can help with the resistance and stuff like that. I didn't really think it was, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking.
I took it as whoever they were talking to either sent them on a mission or knew about the mission. Like they were working together on the mission. But I mean, like you said, it very well could just be them saying like, hey, we got something that we think could help in this war. And guess what? We ran into some clone troopers that aren't trying to kill Jedi. It very well could have been that, but I don't know. I don't know. That was very confusing for me, but I don't think it was Mace or Ahsoka.
No, not at all.
All right. So it brings us to this episode this week, which was what me and AJ in episode 4 were talking about. We wanted and we thought we were getting 2 weeks ago. And that was our boy Rex.
Yes, sir.
We've been waiting for Rex. So finally we got Rex. He's looking for the Bad Batch because he's heard about what was going on. So he's seeking out really the only brothers he thinks he can trust in the moment. And I love how paranoid Rex was, AJ. I loved it. As soon as Wrecker was like, oh, my head, Rex was like,
oh, hell no.
He had the hand on the blicky. And he was like, what? Yeah. Like, I don't play them games. What?
I don't want to kill any more of my brothers, but if I have to, I have to.
He's like, I'll put you down. So I did appreciate that because, we know how fearful Rex is because we know what he literally just went through. I think people keep forgetting not much time has passed since what Rex and Ahsoka had to do. So I loved it. And Rex was saying like, I was lucky I had Ahsoka to help me. Like if I had to just do it myself. And remember what also was so special about Rex and why I'm so glad Dave Filoni gave us Rex, he was fighting it. Remember, he was crying as he was pointing his blaster at Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. He was crying. He knew he knew he wasn't in control, and he hated it. He hated every second of it. And that's why I always say, anybody that supports Cody, y'all are fake out here. Because Cody was just like, what? Kill the Jedi? No problem. Bow.
To be fair, I think Rex had more of an advantage because he got notified about the chip, and I guess it was just like a self-aware type of thing that helped him like control it a little bit more. So
remember this. We talked about this. The difference between Rex and Cody is Cody and Obi-Wan, that was business only. That was it. Rex, Anakin, and Ahsoka
they were like a family. Yeah.
Loved each other. So in that moment, Rex seeing himself about to kill Ahsoka, I could see how the emotions are running. Like, I can't control it, Ahsoka. Like, I don't want to do this. So that's definitely the difference. But that's why I said I don't want to hear from no Cody fans. Cody was just like, all right, cool, let me kill him. Didn't even think about it, AJ. He didn't even go, damn, Obi-Wan has been pretty good to me this whole time. He was just like, murder now.
Well, if you notice in this episode too, Wrecker fought it off a little bit as well. It wasn't as
But remember, here's the difference of why he fought it off. If Wrecker was in front of a Jedi, he would have murdered the Jedi without even blinking.
He would have tried.
But because he was trying to kill his brothers in Omega, he was fighting it because he loves them. But a Jedi, he would have completed the mission. Yeah, bow.
He would have tried to complete the mission, but
he would have tried to complete it. Right. But yeah, I love that, man. I really do want to know, AJ, where Rex let himself go. Like, where Rex was just like, you know what? I'm done. Let me get fat real quick. Like, let me retire. I'm tired of this. But it was so good to see Rex, man. I cried at the end of it because I know that's probably the only time we're gonna see Rex in this season. That's probably the only time we'll see him till we see him again in Rebels. So that really broke my heart because I'm like, damn, man, like you couldn't have stayed with them, Rex. Like, stay with them for a few episodes, please. But yeah, no, I really love this episode. It was emotion driven, and I felt every ounce of it. But what were your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, I really loved this episode as well. It was emotional. It was badass at the same time. Like you already mentioned a lot of it. The way Wrecker was turning on his friends, and you could just see the emotionless face of him, and it was heartbreaking because we all know that Wrecker is like the kid of the group, even more so than Omega is, and like I said, it was heartbreaking. And just to see how Omega tried to help, and you can tell that she was heartbroken throughout that whole scene. And then you have Rex, you have Hunters trying to help out. It was chaotic, basically. It was very chaotic. And the one thing that I do like is that they're starting to push forward the development of the story much more than we've gotten for like the past 4 or 5 episodes. So
yeah, and like you were saying, this episode was very important because it was taking care of something that should not have expanded more than it already did in the past 7 episodes, which was Wrecker hitting his head and dealing with that inhibitor chip. Yeah. Like it was something that you just nip it in the bud, so we're not worrying about that later down the line, because we're already worried about that with Hunter. I mean, not Hunter. I'm sorry, with
Crosshair.
Thank you. We don't need that with another member of the brothers. Excuse me, but I did. Did you pay attention to how many times Rex was just blown away by Omega? Like he was just like, wait a minute, you don't have an inhibitor chip?
Oh yeah.
Like, no, I don't have one. And it's like, well, how do you know? How do you know you don't have one? And she's just like, when they said it, I didn't freak out. Like nothing happened to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I loved it. Now, speculation, like we did on the last episode, who do you think was watching Rex at the end?
Yeah, it was just the people. For me, it was just the people that was already on the world.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm remembering it now. The question I wanted to say to you was, who do you think will now come after the Bad Batch? Because remember, they didn't see Rex. They saw Hunter. They saw Hunter at the end. Rex was already gone. He had went off into the smoke.
I believe Crosshair will enter the next next episode or the episode after that. But the Empire is coming for them. So I do believe they'll have Crosshair and a couple stormtroopers again. Just
okay.
Yes, I do believe that this is going to be the moment where Tarkin test out the stormtroopers and see how they fare against other clone troopers.
That's what I am interested, AJ, because I think at some point you have to hit on it. I am interested if the Bad Batch will ever come across Leia. You know, Leia in the rebellion, because it's you would assume at some point they would realize that's the end goal, because like Hunter said, he wants to build a better life for Omega, and you can't really do that if you're constantly on the run. So I assume at some point they'll find out about the rebellion. And maybe Rex or Ahsoka is somebody that can kind of ease that process into them joining the rebellion, letting them know like, hey, they're not a threat. They're not, they don't have the chips. They're not going to kill any Jedi or whatever. I just find it hard to believe that the rebellion exists, or the rebellion at some point will exist. Because again, right now it's still up in, it's still kind of, that's what Rex was alluding to when he said the Republic's not done yet. Mm-mm. So if he's still referring to it as the Republic, it's not yet become the rebellion. Because remember, people still also need to remember the Empire is just starting. Like, no one knows about Darth Vader yet. So a lot is still happening. This is legit still right after Revenge of the Sith. So I don't even think Vader has bled his crystal yet.
No, not yet.
So this is still very early on in the game, so we haven't really gotten to anywhere yet. So it was very interesting to hear Rex refer to it still as the Republic. He's still under the mindset of we could still maybe overturn this. We just need whatever Jedi is left, whatever men and women are left, and we can overturn it. He has not realized yet that is a uphill battle that will not work. It will not work to the day Luke comes into his power. When that happens, you're good, Rex. So yeah. So I'm really interested because at some point Rex gives up on this, and that's where he goes to the middle of that desert that we see the rebels find him at. So I'm really interested between now and when Rex gets to the moment of Rebels, because Rebels is around Empire Strikes Back, right?
It's 22 years before Battle of Yavin. It's between 22 and 19, I think. Yeah, 22 and 19.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's before Rogue One and The New Hope.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, so I'm really loving this. One thing I hate about Disney Plus, AJ, I don't know why they do it. I know some people love it, but I really don't. Wait, say it again?
I was off. It was 5 years before Battle of Yavin.
Oh, okay. You said 22.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big jump, AJ.
22 was close.
I'm like, that's a gap. Anyway, I don't like that we don't have on the next episode of, like, we literally just have to wait till the next episode. I'd like at least like a little trailer on what to expect from the next episodes. We don't have that from anything Disney Plus. We didn't have it from the Marvel shows, the Star Wars shows.
That's why I don't like. I wish they show like a trailer or like a preview of the next episode after the episode that's already been shown. Yeah, that would have been fun.
Especially if Bad Batch has more episodes than anything Disney Plus is really doing right now. Why not? What are you spoiling? Like, you just would hide whatever the big thing is. Like for this episode, you could have held Rex. The trailer could have just been about Wrecker losing it. And then Rex is the big surprise. So to me, I don't know why they don't do it. I'm starting to see more streaming services don't do that either. I don't know why. Like, it's still a surprise. All you're showing me is a 50-second clip. Yeah. So, and it's funny because you hate it so much, but the only place you really get that still is CW. You get on the next episode of you really get it nowhere else. No one else really gives it to you. I don't know why they decided to stop it, but it's weird. But yeah, so we've caught you guys up from episode 5 to episode 7, the most recent episode. We gave you the Star Wars news. We did get a set photo of what's his name walking around in a robe covering up his costume as Obi-Wan Kenobi. That just dropped like a few hours ago. Really nothing to really talk about on that, but it was just interesting that they're hiding it. So whatever his new look is dope. Because they're hiding it. So it's not your typical gear that you see Obi-Wan in. So I'm thinking it might be his clone gear. Like his battle armor gear. It has to be something else like that. Because if it's just him in more robes, it's like, why would you hide that? What is so special about him in more robes? So clearly it has to be something drastically different than anything we've seen Obi-Wan in live action.
Maybe it's more robes under more robes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Why would you hide that? What's so special about more robes? It's just like there's only so many ways you can make tan and brown look. And
maybe it's a golden robe.
A golden robe.
A golden robe.
If they're hiding it, AJ, I'm assuming it's probably his Clone Wars battle armor. Like that battle armor that we've never gotten to see him in live action. It has to be that. Anything else, it's like, why would you hide that? Obi-Wan, here's the thing, for our viewers. Obi-Wan in the books, Obi-Wan in the movies, Obi-Wan in the cartoons has only been in two things. Either the gear that you saw him in Revenge of the Sith, or the gear you saw him in that first Clone Wars cartoon where it was the clone armor, where he essentially was in like the clone armor. Obi-Wan's only in those two outfits.
The most badass look of Obi-Wan, the clone armor. Yeah,
I agree. And Anakin kind of took that look with like the top gear. It wasn't like clone armor, but it kind of looked like it. It was a different garb up top. Mm-hmm. With like the patch on the side, the Republic patch on the side. But yeah, if they're hiding it, it has to be something. You know what I would compare it to, AJ? It would be like if Doctor Strange was on set, right? And he wore a robe over his costume. And then when we got to the movie, it's the same costume we've seen him in for like the past 8 movies. It's like, why'd you hide that? What was different about it? Why would you hide that? It's the same thing. We've seen it before. So to me, to hide it means it's something. It's something. But to be fair, the clone trooper who was walking behind him also had a robe on. And you could see it's just clone armor. So it's like, maybe it is the same thing and they just don't want you to see it because maybe something's off about it. I don't know.
Maybe it's cold.
Yeah, that is possible. But didn't he say in an interview that we will see Obi-Wan in new digs?
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we are getting new digs. So that's what I'm assuming they're hiding. But AJ, this has been a all new episode of GVN Bad Batch Review. Anything else Star Wars we need to get at?
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So I'm really excited for what Bad Batch has for us next week and any other news we get about this Andor series or any of the other series. And yeah, me and AJ are gonna probably sign off on every episode of this with "Give us Knights of the Old Republic."
Please. That's all I want in my life.
Or you know what, AJ? I will come to a middle ground. If you give me the storyline of the brothers, the sister, and the father, I think I can live with that.
That's still the Republic. That's still part of the Republic.
No, it is still part, but it's the it's not the Knights of the Old Republic like we want it. It's not the Malgus storyline. It's not those guys. It's before that. I think it's before that or after it.
It's before, yeah.
Before it, yeah, it's before it. So if they want to go that route, I'll take that because me and you want to see those brothers. We want to see those brothers. I'm more interested in the sister because she seems more OP than the brothers. So I'm interested in seeing how powerful she is. But yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. In the trailer, seeing how powerful she was. You didn't really see that from the brothers, but
they took on a whole war by themselves, basically.
They did, and they killed Jedi and Sith. Yes. They were killing everybody.
Yes. They were basically undefeated. The only people that could beat them were each other.
Yeah, was each other. Yeah, essentially that's who ended up killing them was each other. But the sister is supposed to be, I know in the game, The Old Republic, the sister becomes like the queen. So like she's supposed to be more powerful than them. But how much, I don't know. But I would like to see it play out. Hell, I would have liked it if this Sith series that's coming out was about her. That would have been great.
That's too far in the distant past, though. We already got the
yeah,
timeline.
I know the timelines are off. But Talon, it could have been about Talon.
Yeah.
I would have liked Darth Talon. I don't know why Star Wars refuses to acknowledge Darth Talon. Literally, you hear nothing about Darth Talon. Nothing. Anything. But all right, guys, that's all we got for you. Stay tuned for the MCR coming up this week. And who knows? Maybe me and AJ will do the Twitter space thing tomorrow. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe.
How many times you gonna say maybe?
Copying Shekinah. I'm copying Shekinah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. Never know. But I want to thank AJ for joining me on this episode. I'm glad we got to do this. We've been wanting to talk about the Bad Batch, but we've been just busy the last 2 weeks. Last week was a holiday and everything. So we're back on it, and you can stay tuned for us to break down the next episode next week. But till then, guys, peace.